Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Dost Isms, episode 26. Today we're going to talk about, this episode, we're going to talk about the United States Patent and Trademarks Office of Petitions and a position that's known as the Director of the United States Patent and Trademarks Office, excuse me, who's also the Undersecretary of Commerce for Intellectual Properties. Excuse me. This, hold on a second, excuse me. A position that was created out of whole cloth underneath the under the legislature's American Inventors Protection Act of November 29th, 1999, which created the legislature's commerce and trade finance government slash economic public-private marketplace. That was created as a result of, well, it was really begun in earnest with the 1998 ruling on State Street versus Signature Financial Group, which ruled that automated business methods are patentable. So that this legislative model I'm talking about destroyed, put to death ordinary course practices forever. And the only thing that exists here is the image of ordinary course practices, which of course is what everybody still thinks we're under, because we have the belief in ordinary course practices, and we believe what we're told that we're still under ordinary course practices, and of course we're not. This is a whole different, it's a very sophisticated model. This is something that unless you've had any kind of disclosure on this, you wouldn't have an inkling of knowledge that it even exists, because it was created by bankers and patent attorneys, and they didn't want us to know about it. It was kept, it was not promulgated to us as equal protections requires. And so we're under the impression that we're kind of under ordinary course practices, even though things have changed, technology and everything, but we're still told the mortgage is mortgage. In fact, a mortgage is a lease agreement. They lied to us. And as a matter of fact, they've been lying to us at least in this particular sense, for the past 25 years. And that's what we're going to talk about. So anyhow, this position here was created out of whole cloth, and it is a position that is appointed by the President of the United States, that is confirmed by the Senate, but it's not a cabinet position, though. The Department of Commerce, however, I'm sorry, Secretary of Commerce, however, is a cabinet position. Also gets appointed by the president, and also is Senate confirmed, but it's no difference here. So you got this director of USPTO that is not a cabinet position, but she's kind of undersecretary, or he or she is undersecretary to the Secretary of Commerce, which is an executive cabinet position. So this director of USPTOs, they're kind of a lone ranger. They're out there. They've got very, very high powers, very high position, very high authority that has discretionary powers. And the only one Congress has oversight over the USPTO. As a matter of fact, a former deputy director always told us that, we don't do anything that Congress doesn't tell us to do. We don't do anything unless they tell us to do it. And so Congress has oversight over the USPTO. Now, the USPTO is very, very important. Why? Because it's the origin of everything as anything. Anything that's everything. That's where all these agreements are. This is where we are made a slave. This is where a lot of bad stuff happens. It's a crime scene warehouse. And it is a trade secret because it ain't promulgated to us. It is a trade secret. So it is under the Uniform Trade Secrets Act, defines a trade secret as information including formula, pattern, compilation, program, device, method, technique, or process. Well, you've got formulas, which are algorithms, right? And they're patterns. You've got compilations, which is a compilation of information and whatnot. It's a program, of course. The devices it's stored on, the devices it's conveyed on. It's conveyed by wireless. It's transported by wireless, stored on computers and chips and whatnot. And method, of course, it's a method. Technique, of course, it's a technique, and it's a process. So it is, technically speaking, this all qualifies as patents and trademarks, which all qualifies as intellectual properties. Now, intellectual properties includes patents, trademarks, service marks, copyrights, appellations of origin, which is, we'll get into down the road, know-how, which will also be down the road, and that's know-how with quotations around it. So, quote, know, hyphen, how, close quote. And the most important one is trade secrets. So what they did here, what we did, what I did, was well, trade secret. Let me continue. Trade secret derives independent economic value, actual potential from not being generally known and not being readily ascertainable by proper means. Well, you can't know anything unless you have an inkling of knowledge that something exists, right? Unless you come up and invent something. We're not all inventors. We're not Alexander Graham Bells. We're certainly not all Einsteins, right? So we have to have an inkling of knowledge that something exists to kind of grab us, to kind of latch on to say, okay, I want to learn about this more. I'm going to find out about this more. Well, nobody knows about intellectual property. Nobody knew it was being designed here. Nobody knew that they were scrapping the entire system and building a whole new automated system, which I described in the last episode, and they didn't promulgate it to us. As a matter of fact, they made it worse. They give us this idea. We have this image. We're left with an image of something that's been dead for 25 years. So we ought to be pissed off. We should be very angry. Ordinary course practice has been dead for 25 years, folks. Been dead. Yet we're still made to believe in mortgage loans and mortgage loan. In fact, it's not. And we'll get into all that stuff. Anyhow, trade secrets may be obtained by any lawful means, such as independent discovery or reverse engineering. So if you learn about it, that's what I do. For some reason, I had an inkling of knowledge looking at patents and trademarks, and 14 years later, after reading, Jesus, hundreds, maybe thousands of patents and agreements, and really studying everything, the Patents and Trademarks Office, how everything functions there, and all of the philosophies behind it, the laws behind it. For me, it's pretty exciting. But patents can be pretty boring, pretty drab, pretty dry. You don't have to learn about patents. You don't understand how to read a patent or anything, but you need to understand that this is what drives our economy. This is what drives everything. When we talk about Elon Musk, when we talk about Amazon, Jeff Bezos, when we talk about all these tech pros, this is where they're operating from. It's with the patents and trademarks. When you hear about who's that? Palantir, the database that they're building, it's a patents and trademarks. Okay, so it's what we have to do is we have to put all our focus into patents and trademarks because we got to win our freedom, guys. We have to win our freedom back. I'm going to share with you the most treasured trade secret that the government has that not many people know about. Some people know about it, and they go after the birth certificates and suck out the money for these people, and they're not far off on it, but it's a lot different. It's totally different with this new economy, with this new economic model, and it is going to piss you off. Obviously, if you have something that's kept a secret and there's no oversight, like consumer oversight, there's going to be some shenanigans going on, isn't there? Well, it's a lot of shenanigans going on, folks. And it is time to blow this thing wide open. So that's what we're going to do. So please like, share, subscribe, share this with your friends. This is very important. It's going to get very, very interesting, guys. It's going to get very interesting. We're going to learn about intellectual properties. We're going to learn about things that the reality that create the unseen reality that creates our image of a physical reality. And once you understand that, guess what, guys? The emperor has no clothes at that point in time. Wouldn't that be nice? So anyhow, okay, so that's it for this episode. I'm trying to keep them short, so thank you for joining. Have a good day. We'll see you again shortly.